The Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.
10 ways, 10 true ways to love. Yes, part 1, because we'll be talking more about it. Look, if I were you, I would take, notes about this, because this is very, very, very important. For regardless what is your situation, okay? If you're single, if you are not single, if you are dating, if you are engaged, if you are married, if you don't know exactly what is your situation, you just have someone, or perhaps you don't. Once I asked someone, what is your situation now in love life? Oh, pastor, it's complicated. So that's a new way to define love life now, your status.
I mean, a complicationship.
Complicationship, right? Exactly. Good one. Okay, let's go to the first tip. Pay attention, please. Yes. Listen without interrupting. And we have this very, strong verse that says in Proverbs 18:13, to answer before listening is foolish and shameful. Pastor Lucas, we can see these sometimes happening, when we're counseling couples. They are talking and they start interrupting each other with accusations. They don't allow the other to finish what they have to say. They jump into conclusions. And this is also something that affects also in a negative way relationships.
Yes, because one of the things about love is selfless. And if you cannot listen to someone, you are selfish. Mm-hmm. You are only worried about your own reasons. You don't care about what the other person thinks. So you are selfish. And love is not selfish. Love is selfless.
Exactly.
And when you are selfless, you know how to listen. You want to understand where the person is coming from, what are their reasons. You want to help the person, right?
I was thinking, whilst we were talking about it, God didn't need to listen to us. He had no reason actually to listen to us. He's God. He completely doesn't depend on us on absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. God doesn't need me, doesn't need you, for absolutely nothing. Zero. He's God. He's, completely independent. And God himself, the Bible says that he inclined his ears to listen to us. Can you imagine, in all his majesty, he inclined his ears to listen to us. And we have two human, being, completely full of flaws. People that they say that they love each other, but they are unable to listen to each other.
And adding to that, God already knows what we're going to talk about.
And he does not
already
interrupt.
know what we're going to say before the words are formed in our mind. And still he listens, right?
Yeah.
How about us? We need to know how to listen. And love is this. Love is listening.
Yeah. Second one, please. Let's go. Yes. Speaking without accusation. So then, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. Yes. Another problem that we can see in some relationships, people that they have, that sarcasm in everything they say. They are unable to speak without an accusation. Always, bringing back memories, bringing back the past, saying, oh, but I still remember what you did to me. You hurt me so badly in the past. They're always using, the other's flaw to put them down. And what the Bible says here is amazing. Look at that. So this advice from James, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath, Pastor Lucas.
Words can hurt more than slaps in the face, right? Because If someone hits you, you're gonna heal, but a hurtful word can hurt forever.
Yeah.
So that's why the Bible says to be slow to think before you speak.
Yeah.
And how many couples in the heat of the moment they will say something that they cannot take it back. Once said it, you can never take it back. So be careful not to be angry, and during this anger you say something you're going to regret, or you're going to hurt the other person.
Indeed. The third one, Pastor Lucas, please.
Third one, give without sparing. And there's this verse, Pastor James, in Proverbs 21:26. He covets greedily all day long, but the righteous gives and does not spare.
This is so deep, Pastor Lucas, because this is something that also applies especially to singles. Because when singles, they are in a relationship, they are dating, they get excited with the idea of dating someone. And especially if they are dating someone that it's, from a different perspective, that someone starts saying things like, oh, if you really love me, you have to sleep with me. Or if you really love me, you have to do this and that for me. So they start sparing, they start giving too much, giving more than they should give. And what is the problem when you start giving more than you are supposed to? You start to decrease your own value. That's what happened to you. When you start, for example, dating couples that they are still dating, sleeping together, you are giving no reason for the guy, or for the girl also to marry you later on. Because what is the point? People that you know what? Let's save some money. Let's move in together. They start cohabiting together and they think, oh, no, that's fine. God knows our heart and this is what really counts. You are doing things wrong. You are rushing, and the consequences will come. That's why the Bible says here, he who covets greedily all day long, but the righteous gives and does not spare. So in other words, you know what to give, the right time to give, exactly, the right moment of doing things. The fourth one, praying without ceasing. And whatever things you ask in prayer, believing, you will receive. Yes, a powerful tool, in any situation in life, but also in relationship. How many times you don't know what to do in your relationship? You had already spoken to your husband, to your wife. You tried. You had that emotional reaction. You yelled. You tried many things, but all your methods failed. So what do you have to do now? You have to pray. There are things, my friend, that only prayer will give you the right solution. There is no other way. There is no other way. That's why the Bible says here, whatever things you ask in prayer, believing, you will receive.
That's right. And Pastor James, sometimes, people come to us, and if we ask them, did you pray about this?
Yeah.
Did you talk to God about this? You're going to find out that most of the times they didn't, right? They didn't go to God. They didn't pray about it. They didn't ask God. So this is a powerful tool that people need to use more, right? Whether single or dating or couples. And Pastor James, pray without ceasing. And that's what we do in the love therapy.
Yeah.
Right?
From the beginning to the end.
So marriages and couples, you are married. That's what we do in the love therapy. You come here to pray for your marriage. This is what the Bible is saying. Pray for your marriage. Don't cease. Don't stop praying for your marriage.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And how many couples they stop?
Yeah.
They don't pray anymore. They don't give maintenance.
Yeah. It's interesting because, usually people, they only pray when they are in trouble. But they don't understand that prayer is not only, a way for you to fix problem, but to prevent them. The fifth one, Pastor Lucas, please.
Answer without quarreling. Better is a dry morsel with quietness than a house full of feasting with strife. Proverbs 17, verse 1.
Yes. So there are people that they really love a fight, a trouble, to be in a
Yes.
in a conflict. There are really people that are troublemakers. They, especially when it comes to relationship.
Yeah.
And most
They're
of this,
quick to
yes,
react in a bad way,
yeah,
to lose their temper.
mm-hmm.
And Pastor James, the person, this is for the couples and for the singles already to learn, but the person that is more important to you, that's going to be the most important to you after God, obviously, is your wife, is your husband.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the very person that people fight the most. And
How
they don't
come?
care what they say, if they lose their temper, if they hurt. How come? And they wouldn't do that to a stranger in the street.
This is something that we were talking about one of these last classes in the marriage course. I don't want to reveal the whole marriage course here, but this is something that we already spoke in the law therapy. You know why this happened, Pastor Lucas? Because people, they do know how to control their emotions.
Of course they know. Yes.
Because when you are before your boss in your workplace and your boss, is demanding something from you, or perhaps is, speaking to you and you think that it's not fair, what do? You just control yourself. If you work, with clients or customers every single day, you know how it works. How many times, that kind of person that comes and, will ask you to see the whole shop, the whole stock, and buys absolutely nothing. How do you feel about it? Do you feel happy? Do you feel glad, excited? Oh, yes, I need more people like that.
Sometimes they are very unpolite, rude.
Exactly.
But you don't want to lose your job, right? Am I right? And sometimes the couples, they are fighting, screaming at each other, and the phone rings, right?
And they change immediately.
Oh, hello. How are you doing? Oh,
Yeah.
just a second. I'll call you right back. And they
come back to that.
How quick they are to change, right?
That's just the living proof that people, they can control their reaction. That's why the Bible says better is a dry morsel with quietness than a house full of feasting with strife. So my friend, whatever you can do in order to keep the peace, to maintain peace in your relationship, do it. Even if you have to lose. Lose the argument, but don't lose your peace. Remember that.
The Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.